Hey kids, it's time for another exciting episode of KWJUDAS!
The river runs slow. I know where the deep water turns to black. Oh, I know if I go down there, I won't be coming back. I know where the river runs slow, hidden undertow, don't get to me. Dragging me down to the bottom, washing my bones on out to sea. And the river runs over me. Down in the cold black void, I know a demon waits for me. No conscience, no mercy, no soul, it lies beyond what I can see. I know where the river runs slow, hidden undertow, gonna set me free. Dragging me down to the bottom, washing my bones on out to sea. And the river runs over me. The deep water turns to black. I know if I go down there, I won't be coming back. I know where the river runs slow, hidden undertow, gonna get to me. Dragging me down to the bottom, watching my bones on out to sea.
We have the Mighty Dirt Nappers here on KWJUDAS, Gumption City Radio. You guys are from Ogden, you say?
Yes.
You traveled quite from afar.
Yes, about an hour and a half.
Oh, I thought it was more like 2 hours. I don't know. It's been a while. So before we started the show, I asked you like what genre you would categorize your music in, and it seemed like you had a couple of different renditions of.
Well, I would say if I was trying to describe us, I tend to describe us as sort of a rockabilly band, but we really are kind of all over the place. We're not. We've got several rockabilly songs. We've got some punk rock songs, or then we've got a couple of power ballads. So, we're kind of we're a bit all over the place. I struggle to tell people, so I usually just say it's rock and roll.
It's rock, yeah. That
it's
works.
Rock, folks. It's rock.
Rock does cover a lot of grounds,
There you go.
And it's good that, of course, people are keeping it alive because rock and roll will never die.
Exactly. I think that Mick Jagger said that once. Somebody asked him, he said, it's all just rock and roll. So,
who was it that wrote that one song? It's all rock and roll to me. Wasn't that like Billy Idol or Billy Joel or
Billy Joel? Yeah.
Probably
something.
Billy Joel.
Yeah, I'm up on my music trivia. Bob
Could have been Bob Seger.
Isn't he an actor?
I was going to say Billy Joel, Bob Seger. That's kind of the same thing.
Word. So, up in Ogden, where do you guys usually play?
I would say Kamikazes is probably our go-to. We've done the Funkin' Dive. We've done the Lighthouse. Sadly,
Funkin' Dive's
the
got some good
Lighthouse.
steak there.
Yeah, and
I've never been
sadly,
to
the
Lighthouse.
Lighthouse is about pretty much shut down just over the last couple of weeks.
Lighthouse? Shut down?
Yeah, well, they sold the bar, and the guy that's come in and bought the bar pretty much said, no, we're not going to have bands anymore. We're bringing in a grand piano, and we're going to just make this into a piano bar. After years of it being that place where you could go and hear local bands,
Man,
it's not going to be that anymore.
Crazy.
That's where we had our CD release. Was at Lighthouse.
That's unfortunate. So, before we get any further into the interview, if you want to call it that, why don't we introduce ourselves? I'm Judas.
I'm Wizard.
I'm Jeff.
What do you play?
Well, my son and I alternate on guitar and bass, depending on who's singing. So we ran into this problem where neither one of us seemed to be able to play bass and sing at the same time. So if I'm singing, I'm playing the guitar. If he's singing, he's playing the guitar.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the guitar is like the conch.
Yes, he's the better bass player of the two of us.
So you're his son?
Right. Yeah, I'm his son.
And what was your name?
My name's Cole, and yeah, he's the better bass player, definitely. But yeah, we trade off depending. What usually happens is between the two of us, one of us will come up with lyrics and rhythm guitar, and then we'll bring it to the rest of the band, and then whoever's playing bass will kind of figure out their bass part. Brad will figure out whatever he's going to do on the drums, and then after we kind of rearrange everything, then we finally get something. And a lot of times we write a song and we kind of have something in our heads for it, and then we bring it to everybody else, and it comes out completely different than what we meant it to be originally. But yeah,
That's cool. And then we have
Brad. I hit stuff rhythmically.
you got it bangs on things.
That's what I try to do.
Man, drums are fun. I used to dabble a little bit in drums until I injured my leg, and now I have had surgery, so I should get back into dabbling.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of a nervous person anyway, so I'm always tapping on stuff. That's what I do.
Yeah, it's a good outlet, the drums.
Yeah.
It's also a good outlet for, of course, aggression, anger.
Yeah, that's what started it when I was a teenager, for sure.
So how long have you been playing?
31 years.
Damn.
Off and on.
So you better be pretty good.
I used to be good. The older I get, the cooler I was.
Cooler I was.
That's, I guess, what you could say for anybody. The older you get, the cooler you ain't.
But it don't matter anymore.
Yeah. After a while, you just stop caring about who's cool and who's not.
Yeah, that stopped mattering in high school.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah, I guess that is kind of, I don't know. Like, even still, there's people that, like, are just not cool.
Ouch.
You have a point.
I'm not going to name names or anything.
No, we won't do that.
But there are some people that just are not cool.
There's absolutely no doubt. We got about half the country.
Oh.
Like, if you're like a dog owner who, like, yanks on your dog's collar just for, you know, like choking them and shit, you're not cool.
Exactly.
I don't even like dogs.
Oh.
And I just think that's not cool.
If you're putting a collar on a dog, that's not cool. I mean, we have harnesses now. They're way better.
Yeah. Put a collar on a cat.
That's right. A bell.
And then set him free.
Let him be.
What was that cat's name? Tybalt? The cat that came and visited us?
Yeah.
What
Colonel
was it? For the 4th of
Colonel
July?
Mustard.
Colonel Mustard was like, we actually have a neighborhood cat.
Nice.
And somebody in the neighborhood actually bought him a collar that says Neighborhood Kitty.
Colonel Mustard.
And they named him Colonel Mustard, but I named him Tybalt because it fits him
And
better.
he's got a deformed face where he's got a saber
yeah.
tooth, a snaggle tooth. It's like one big tooth jutting up from his underjaw. He looks, so I was calling him Saber-Tooth Kitty.
Nice.
And everybody feeds him, right?
I don't. No. I just think he's cool. He still shows up on my porch, and I still pet him. And I would totally take him in if I could, but we're not allowed to have cats here. So I let him hang out. If I could, I'd have a fucking fox or like a raccoon or something. Something awesome.
Something smart.
All I can have is fish.
Raccoons are only good until they become adults.
Yeah, once they hit a certain age, you can't keep a raccoon anymore.
Then you can't tame them anymore.
Really?
But yeah, there's something.
That's the problem
weird
that Schmacky had with his raccoon.
Well, he kind of just left it in the cage and didn't do much with it anyways, so he kind of went crazy.
But that apparently is what they do when they reach adulthood anyway. Like, they just can't be kept as an indoor pet at all.
Huh.
Me and my first wife had a skunk. And
that'd be
bought
cool.
Bought it from a pet store, and you had to buy them as a baby before they were weaned, and you had to actually bottle feed them, and that was supposed to make them where they wouldn't do that turn wild thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It didn't really work out for us. The thing when he got grown, we ended up having to give him away. I mean, he would just crawl up beside you and bite you, for no reason. And he kept going under the couch. And I'm like, well, he likes to stay under the couch, and that's cool. And this goes on for a while. Then one day I go to sit down on the couch, and the whole couch collapses to the floor. And we're like, what the hell? And we turned the couch over, and he had pulled all the stuff inside the couch, and it made him a nest over there in the... So yeah,
wow,
that was my experience with the skunk.
Well, yeah, I mean,
made a nest out of
that's
your
what
couch.
you get when you try and take a feral species and try and treat it like a domesticated animal. Like, they're called domesticated pets for a reason.
That's true.
I don't know. I've heard that, you can still domesticate skunks pretty well, but I don't know. I've never had one. That would be a pretty cool pet, I think.
It was cool, like I said, until he became an adult. And then it was kind of like, actually, I think maybe he just didn't like me. I don't ever remember him treating my ex-wife that way. But
it was her couch, too, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
was
come
her
on.
couch. It was more the biting you on the side thing. When you
random bites. Like, no thanks.
Bug me.
They're not very fast, are they?
No, and usually they don't need to be unless they've had their glands removed.
Right.
But what would happen, he still thought he had glands. So when he would get mad at you, they do this weird thing where they jump up and down, stomp their front feet, and they turn their body in almost a U shape and raise that tail up and try to squirt you. So, so that
sounds
was
so fucking adorable.
it was
Just
pretty,
like,
it was pretty funny to watch it. But thank God they had been removed. So,
yeah, I ran into a skunk one time. It was way late at night, and I went to Scouts growing up. you know, and I got told if you run into a skunk, I don't remember who told me this, but they tell you stuff in Scouts, you know.
And half of it's lies.
Well, your scout leaders fuck with you sometimes.
Yeah,
so
that's what I mean by half of it's lies.
And I don't mean fuck with you in like a perverted way. I never had any of that shit. And
no, me neither.
I definitely feel bad about what's happened to the Boy Scouts of America over
Yeah, because it was a really good thing for me growing up.
Yeah, I loved it. And it was good to just get you out of the house and go out and do cool shit.
And learn cool shit.
Yeah. So this actually worked. What I was told that you do if you run into a skunk is you sing to it.
Sing to it.
Yeah. So we're like kind of bushwhacking it towards the creek at this place called Camp Jeremiah. I used to work there, and my family used to rent the place out every Labor Day weekend. So it was like me, my sister, my cousin, they were following me, and all of a sudden I just stop, and like you're supposed to sing a calming song. And the first song that came to my head, and this is back when like the Titanic was fresh. I start just busting into some Celine fucking Dion. I'm just like, near, far, wherever you are. I promise I sang it better. My life depended on it.
So it worked.
And the squirrel turned around, or the
skunk,
the chipmunk. I mean, yeah, the stinky thing didn't spray me, and we got away lucky. We slowly he turned around and went the other way, and we just turned around and went our way. So I'm gonna say that it worked.
Judas approved.
Right.
Same place. I had a run-in with a moose, and I got told as a scout that what you do with a moose or a bear is you pick up sticks or tree branches and try and make yourself look as big as you can, and you wave them above your head. And like this moose was headed right towards the parking lot right as camp let out. This is when I was working at the camp, and somebody told me there was a moose, and I could see that he was coming around these trees that led into the parking lot. That was like the only way for him to go, kind of thing. And so I just was like, everybody was getting into their cars. So there was like hundreds of kids and shit in this parking lot. I'm like, this can't happen. And so I jumped out from behind the bushes in the parking lot with these two huge sticks over my head and was just like, "Blah!" And the motherfucker hightailed it. It worked once again. The scouts didn't do me wrong. I learned something, and it actually was applied in real life. Unlike all that stuff you learn in school and shit. Like, when am I going to use this in real life?
Really.
But if you're an outdoorsy type, I guess, yeah, go ahead and try it. If you
run into the chance.
Just wave sticks over your head.
I'm afraid he might think I'm another moose and
fall in love.
You never know.
You got to be wearing the right perfume.
I was told when we moved out here, my son and I moved out here from Georgia 20 years ago, and one of the first things I was told was hiking through the mountains. If you see a bear, just kind of make yourself look big and back away. If you see a moose, run like hell. That's what I was told. I was told that the moose was literally one of the worst things you could run into on the trail, especially if you ran into a mare with her
calf.
As long as you don't get in
don't
between the two, you're just fine because they'll mind their own business. But if you find yourself in between the two, like what I was told to do and actually even did, and it worked just fine, is don't break eye contact with the moose and just back away.
So you had that happen?
Yeah, absolutely happened to me. We were up the Uintas. We hiked about a week away from where we parked to stay at this little pond. And me and my friend Mike Olson had wandered around to the far side of the pond, and like we were looking over towards the pond, and we're like, "Oh, look, there's a couple of moose calves." And then on the other side of this, we hear this grunt. Just turn, and she was 50 yards to our left, like massive, like bigger than life, and we froze and just kept eye contact and backed away. And the second she had a clean path to get back to the calves, like Yep, she just went right to the calves and let us be, thankfully.
Wow.
Because I've been told many times, like, that is one of the worst situations you can be in. Like, give me a black bear, give me a, like, just don't put me in between a moose and her calves. And I was actually there once, and no, she let us back away slowly. It worked.
I can't believe I've never heard you tell that story. Huh? You've probably heard me tell mine more than once.
I have heard that story, I think only once, though, before tonight.
Word. Yeah, one of the Camp Jeremiah tales that wasn't supernatural.
Yeah.
I've had the scariest shit happen to me that was natural up at Camp Jeremiah, and the scariest shit happened to me that was supernatural up at Camp Jeremiah. But that's a whole
another
other
story.
thing. Yeah. We should get into some more music. We've been blabbing for a minute. This is Dirt Nappers. Thank you all for joining us on KWJUDAS, Gumption City Radio.
At 12 years old, I used to think about how someday I'd be 18. Drive all around, do just what I wanted to. Well, 18 came and away it went. Now I'm trying to pay the rent, and I'm thinking maybe when I'm 30, I'll do just what I want to do. Well, I just want to do what I want to do. That's what I wanna do. Well, I just want to do what I wanna do, and I wanna do it with you. Well, a white kid and Dr. Bill sell those high blood pressure pills, and I'm thinking maybe when the kid's gone, I'll do just what I wanna do. Yeah, maybe when I'm 45, find I'm standing mid-age guy, finally get the time to do just what he wants to do. Well, I just want to do what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Well, I just want to do what I want to do. I want to do it with you.
I do look at things differently, fella. Is that wrong? I live by my wits. I'm not above bending the law now and then. Clothes on my back, my stomach. I live the kind of life that other people would just to live and feel me at 30. Who's to say that the boy have your way so much? Why not let him decide? No, I'm afraid it don't work that way. You can't let a young decide for himself. He'll grab at the first flashy thing with shiny ribbons on it. And when he finds out there's a hook in it, it's too late.
Well, the kids have kids, family's tight, work's good, bills are light, and I finally got the time to do just what I want to do. But it dawns on me I can't recall anything I would change at all. I guess I've always been doing just what I wanted to. Well, I just want to do what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I just want to do what I want to do. I want to do it with you. Well, I just want to do what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Well, I just want to do what I want to do. I want to do it with you. till my turn it comes. And I ain't gonna sign your damn confession. Eyewitnesses been seen of the crime. Ballistic analysis said the bullets were mine. Facing death row for a crime I'd done. But when the gavel fell, the jury was anything but hung. And I was railroaded. No one seems to care about the truth. And I was railroaded. Fight against the system. You're always gonna lose. Judge took the stand, you could tell he was out for blood. I could already feel the noose around my neck. Stated my case, but it fell on deaf ears. I knew justice was blind, but sometimes she can't hear. 3 odds and a cot until I see the chair. Apply for appeals, but no one seems to care. I'm guilty of many things, but I never killed anyone. With no way to fight back and nowhere to run. I was railroaded. No one seems to care about the truth. And I was railroaded. Fight against the system. You're always gonna lose.
The Dirt Nappers here on KWJUDAS, Gumption City Radio, clearing the hell down from Ogden City, Utah, which is almost as far away as Gumption City, Utah.
It's also the middle of the show.
It is the middle of the show. Oh, so do you have a useless fact for us?
I mean, I always have a useless fact for you.
All right, it's time for one of Wizard's useless facts.
All right. Well, so the Karma Sutra has approximately 47,250 words. There is a useless fact for you.
Yeah.
At 250 words per minute, it would take about 8 hours and 9 minutes to read. Bam.
I don't know when I'm ever going to use a piece of information like that. So, yes, that was a very useless fact.
I might could have used it 30 years ago.
Why?
Karma Sutra.
Oh, yeah. But do you really need to know how many words are in it?
No.
to be able to use it or do it?
There you go. That's true.
Indeed. So, as we were talking before our music break, Wizard was saying that another kind of crazy thing happened to him in that same camping expedition.
Yeah, with the moose encounter.
So not only did you run into a moose and could have got trampled, but
probably should have gotten trampled by what I've always been told. Yeah.
So how many people were with you?
So there was only 6 of us Boy Scouts and my Scoutmaster. So it wasn't a big group. And like I said, it was like, I mean, realistically, if it wasn't a bunch of, if it wasn't a handful of Boy Scouts that's hard to keep on task, it probably would have been a 3 or 4 day hike, but it took us about a week, and then we were going to stay there just 2 nights. And the first night, the first evening, me and Mike Olson ran into that moose, but across from this tiny little pond that we were on was a camp that had been set up before we got there across, and it's not a very big pond, so you could see it pretty clearly. And on the second day, me and my buddy walked over there, and everything was covered in a fine layer of leaves, like it hadn't been disturbed in a long while. And we got curious and opened up the tent and got hit by the worst smell you can imagine. There was a elderly gentleman in there that had passed away. And like later down the road, learning about the story, like his family's pretty sure that's what he went up there to go do. It was his favorite place in the world, and he'd spent like half of his time up in those mountains and was in his late 80s. But yeah, I found a dead body on that. It's like that was a little hard to handle at first.
That smell does not get out of your head.
No.
Wow, have you run into a dead body before?
Years and years. I used to do heat and air conditioning work, and
let's hear this
years ago, we were just going through apartments doing maintenance, and we hit this one apartment, and we knocked on the door, and nobody answered, so we used our master key to go in, and as soon as we opened the door, it was like, and it was an efficiency apartment, so everything was right there. But this was actually turned out to be a murder. So it was a pretty gruesome scene. We opened the door, we're like, oh crap, this ain't good, and we went straight down to the bottom of the steps and called police. But yeah, so I ran into that, and they think that she had been there about 3 days before we discovered her.
Yeah, crazy.
How was she murdered, do you know?
She was shot. When we opened the door, that it was efficiency apartment, beds right there, and just the whole one side of the walls just painted red. And brown, and the smell was overwhelming. I'm surprised. That was actually one of the reasons they were having us do the maintenance, because they thought that an animal had died, like either in the attic or basement. So they said, while you're going through and doing all this, see if you can't figure out why we got this bad smell. And we figured it out.
Huh. God damn.
Yeah, so that's my dead body story. Anybody else got one?
Yeah. Now that we're on that topic.
I've got one. Yeah, I do a lot of rafting.
That's 3 out of 5.
There's a run right there in Riverdale that takes you to downtown Ogden. They call it the Ghetto Pools. I've seen naked people running through there. I've seen like hookers living in tents down there. But we were riding by on this shallow spot, and there was a body that was like half in the water, half out of the water, with his pants like pulled down to his knees. But we didn't stop or anything. We just kept going, and like the next day they reported it in the news. I didn't even report it.
Oh, jeez.
we pretended like we didn't really see what we saw, did we? We don't
got time for this.
Exactly. I want to finish my run. Obviously, that guy doesn't need anyone's help. He's fine.
Right. He's beyond help right now. Someone else will call in help.
Exactly.
Yeah, that can really ruin your day,
Dying or
finding a dead body. Having to call in a dead body.
I do have to wonder, is that like a normal average, though? 3 out of 5 people have
I don't know.
Had to deal with a dead body at some point in their life?
That's a good question. Without it being like part of their job.
Or are we special?
I haven't just run into a dead body yet, but I did watch someone burn to death.
Ooh.
So that's kind of,
That's almost better than no.
It was pretty crazy.
I didn't mean that.
I was on acid, and this was no hallucination.
Yeah, it was definitely not a hallucination.
Everyone saw it, not just me. And it was at one of those mini Burning Man things. They'll do them like regional Burning Mans, and here in Salt Lake, it's called Element 11. And this was a couple of years ago. I think I've probably already
2014.
Told this. Yeah, I think I have. I told this story on like the first episode of KWJUDAS.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about the same thing.
Yeah, the dude ran right past the Rangers and dove headfirst in, and there's nothing you can do about it at that point.
Yeah, just as I was walking up, I watched this dude just jump into this huge
three-story structure
bonfire. And, all the music's just stopped. Everything stopped.
Oh, my gosh.
And somebody yelled, "Get him out of there!" But there was it was such a hot fire. I mean, you couldn't you even stand that close to it comfortably. But this guy obviously had the gumption to penetrate that wall of heat and just go for it. Did like a swan dive kind of thing.
Yeah, it's only because he did it at a sprint and did that last little diving.
Right, he kind of stopped for a second, and then the security guys stopped for a second.
And then he danced around him.
Then he just went for it. It's like they almost stopped because they thought he was going to stop, and he didn't.
Right, because who's looking for a person to do something like that?
Now they're on the lookout for that sort of thing.
Yeah, now we have what they call sandmen, and it's a volunteer position I've taken up where we're there watching for that very thing now. Like every burn we do.
Yeah, he's kind of actually involved with
very much
the
so.
Rangers there.
Have been for 10 years now.
Word.
And they do that every year?
Yeah, we do it every year, every summer.
Somebody doesn't burn to death every year.
No.
But the party happens every year.
Yeah, it's roughly 3,000 people. Anything goes. Like you can't spend any money. There's no vendors, but there's restaurants and bars. You just have to bring your own cup, your own plate.
Yeah, all the booze at the bar is free.
There used to be an orgy tent that stopped coming a few years ago, but it's like I said, anything goes. Clothing is optional. People wear whatever they want. Like it's.
Yeah,
it's watched over by people we call rangers. We're not there to tell you what to do. Just make sure that everyone's okay and everyone's having a good time. You know, I've even helped a participant help them find their lost drugs, just to show how much the Rangers are not authority. We're not there to like stop you from partying. We're there to make sure you're partying safely.
Cool.
Yeah,
we just came back from a similar, maybe not quite as no holds barred, but we did the Barter Festival up in Washington just a couple of months ago. So.
What's that called?
What is it?
Tonasket Barter Fest up there in Tonasket, Washington. It's probably it's like 15 miles from the Canadian border, and it was on this big piece of land, and it was just people trading stuff, and it was huge.
Cool.
Barter Fest. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
We got a Mountain Man rendezvous thing that comes through. I don't know if they still do it, but sort of the same thing. You just barter things.
This thing is much more drug driven, though.
Nice.
Should probably throw that out there. It's not Mountain Men. It's just a bunch of wooks.
Bunch of wooks.
Damned wooks. Well, let's get to another song, shall we? This is the Dirt Nappers here on KWJUDAS, Gumption Speed Radio.
Once there was a time that I had some peace of mind, now that's gone. Once there was a time that I knew what was right, what was wrong. But the peace in our minds was just clouded, losing in light. And now as it crumbles, there's only ourselves to criticize. Some say that we can change the ways, others say everything is fine. Some would say the price is just too high to pay. Some would say that we're running out of time. peace of mind. Some say that we can change the ways, others say everything is fine. Some will say the price is just too high to pay. Some will say that we're running out of time.
That was No Peace of Mind by the Dirt Nappers on KWJUDAS Gumption City Radio. And also, while we were on that little break there, this guy's sitting here telling me that they've played shows in cemeteries.
Well, we've made videos in cemeteries.
Played songs.
You know, we used to do this thing called the couch sessions where we would bring the camera, the phone, whatever with us and just film in weird locations. Mostly Jeff's front room.
Doing our stuff acoustically.
Yeah, playing acoustic versions on the cajon and the acoustics. But, we did the Hearst song, the Worms Crawl In, the Worms Crawl Out. We went and played that one at Ogden Cemetery. That was pretty good. They had like this huge swing that was set up there because there was this gal back in the 1800s that all of her kids died from scarlet fever. And so her husband built this bench and taught this horse to drive itself to and from. And she'd just get in the morning and go hang out with her kids all day. So, he's like a plaque and stuff. It's really cool, yeah.
Creepy.
It's macabre.
I was out of town when they did the cemetery show.
Yeah, that was just two of us.
See, we've been at different points. We started out as a 4-piece. Then we went to a 5-piece for a second or two. Then we went all the way down to a 3-piece. We really like the 3-piece. It's just so much easier.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's happened to us.
That's almost exactly our story.
We were a 4-piece, then we were usually we started as just me and Angela, and then
3-piece for a while.
And then we were a 4-piece with Cherub, 5-piece with Schlong Bob. Then we lost Cherub and Angela, so we went back down to a 3-piece. Got a new violin player, so we were back to a 4-piece. Lost a violin player, so we were back to 3 again. Then Wizard quit right as we got a new drummer, so 3. Then we had a saxophone player that was 4. Then he died. Then we got another saxophone player keeping us at 4. And then he quit, and the drummer quit, and then Wizard rejoined, bringing us back to a 3-piece. So we have a song that's just called They Quit and Killed Themselves that is about pretty much just the legacy of our history.
Yep.
Because so many people have quit and killed themselves in our band.
And we've decided to stay happily at 3 pieces because we're finally writing new music again instead of trying to teach new members the old music.
Yep, that's what it's all about. We did the same thing pretty much with our last guitar player.
Right, I forgot about we went back to the 4-piece for a second, But then everything fell apart when we were recording.
Really frustrating when you spend a year and a half teaching someone your set and they go and kill themselves.
Or quit.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Inconvenient.
Yeah, it's like we just wasted, because every practice, that's what we would be doing.
Focusing on songs that we knew like the back of our hand because we'd been doing it for...
Yeah, just teaching new people old stuff. And then they quit or kill themselves.
And
So there goes another whole year we just wasted not
Kicking the
doing
dick.
anything.
Well, I also like the idea because we found out as a three-piece, we can pretty much load almost everything into my Honda Civic.
Oh, that's also nice.
It's a CRV.
all of our gear fits in here.
Not a Civic.
It's not it's a CRV. It's still a pretty small car, but we can get everything in there if we absolutely have to.
Drum set included?
The drum set included. Now I'm leaving people. Nobody's riding with me at that point. The drum set,
course.
but we can get everything in there as a three-piece.
That is kind of advantageous as a three-piece.
And then it's just so much easier to arrange everything. You know, oh, hey, can we do this show? We don't have to call 5 different people to see, are you going to be able to do the show on the 28th?
Word. Well, let's have another song. We're kind of getting close to the end.
We got time for a couple more.
Should we have a word from our sponsor?
I believe they require it.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is a
Buds
word from
and
our
Suds.
sponsor, and we'll get back into some music. Thank you all for joining us tonight on KWJUDAS, Gumption City Radio. Hey, kid. How's the new hedgehog?
Aw, pretty prickly, Mr. Derpinsley guy. I can't even pet him without getting poked. Oh, and I don't even know why I ordered this stupid thing.
Well, kid, let me tell you, I used to have the same problem.
You did?
Of course. You can't felch a hedgehog with all those prickly quills.
Well, what the hell does felching mean?
Just use Derpinsley's new hedgehog quill remover, and this little critter will be ready enough for me to show you.
Well, I don't know. Most of your demonstrations end up painfully.
Trust me, kid, it feels exquisite.
Okay.
Brought to you by Derpinsley. And remember, if it doesn't say Derpin, it's not Derpinsley. Well, that was a word from our sponsor, Derpinsley, with whom this program, or without whom, this program would never exist. So, we're getting close to the end of the hour here. Before we play our final numbers, is there any shows you got coming up or anything you want to plug?
Yeah, well, what was the date for the Vet Fest that we have up in Huntsville? We're going to be playing September 6th at the Vet Fest up in Huntsville at the VFW. And then the next night, the 8th, we're going to be playing, or the 7th, sorry. Yeah, the 6th in Huntsville, and then the 7th at Kamikazes, and we'll be playing with Daniel Beddoes and the Common Souls. Yeah, so
And that's
should be a good
Kamikazes in
time.
Ogden.
Kamikazes is a cool place. I love that they made a venue out of a church.
I know it. And they've got a good sound guy up there now, if you haven't played in a
Word.
little while, because that was the only issue with
We haven't played there in a
commies was
while.
sometimes struggling with the sound. This great stage and terrible sound sometimes. But now they've got a kid up there that's awesome. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He gets you sounding good.
How do you get a gig up there? We usually just get asked by other bands.
You can ask, but we will definitely get you to play up there next time.
I think we'd be a
love
good
to.
match.
We would pair well
Absolutely.
together
Love
for
to,
sure.
Love to.
The Dirt Nappers and the Delphi Quorum. I mean, we both start with the same letter. Can't
There you
argue
go.
with that.
Yeah, just hit us up on Messenger.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more then.
Shoot, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So where do we find your music online?
You can go to our Facebook page, just search for the Dirt Nappers, Ogden, Utah. Our music's available on pretty much all the major streaming platforms. You can get it on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube Music, Amazon Music. I think even has it.
next to my Pandora.
Yeah, DistroKid pretty much handles it for everybody. Puts it on all
Right.
on all of them. So yeah.
Well, hell yeah. We're going to have two songs to finish the night out because, I don't know, they just kind of go together. This is the Dirt Nappers here on KWJUDAS, Gumption City Radio. Thank you all for being with us tonight.
Said to me, you and I would always be, and that you never set me free. The only path you and I could see. But now you stand alone in the void between right and wrong. No reward will come till you're gone, long gone. I've been standing still for way too long. I was still searching for something we lost when I found you'd thrown it all away. Wasted now, I clearly see. So please, disappearing woman, let me be. Still, I wish you well as I lead you to your own created hell. Bidding you a very fond farewell. Well, I guess I just got nothing left to sell. Well, I was still searching for something we lost when I found you'd thrown it all away. My time was wasted now, I clearly see. So please, fearing woman, let me be. Drink till our minds are all gone. and rock and roll. Forget about responsibility. Sex and drugs and rock and roll. For tonight we're living free. Tomorrow there will be apologies.
We'd like to thank you for joining us again on yet another exciting and exclusive episode of KWJUDAS on Gumption City Radio. We now turn you back to our regularly scheduled Gumption City programming.